Hello everyone and welcome into the channel. My name is Brent. 20 years ago, I was living paycheck to paycheck, constantly stressed out about money, but today I'm investing regularly and building up wealth. And it all started with a few simple habits. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 10 different money habits that have completely changed my financial life. No fluff, just real practical steps that anyone can take. So let's go ahead and get into 10 money habits that changed my life and let me start investing. So if this is your first time here to the channel or you're a returning viewer, I would really appreciate if you go down below and subscribe to the channel. Give this video a big old thumbs up, really helps me out. Now, starting with habit number one, I believe everyone should start by creating a budget. Now, whether this is on Google Spreadsheets or by using an app, this is like the main thing I feel everyone should start off by getting into. I found two websites online. First one being Every Dollar. This is Dave Ramsey's platform here. They do have a free platform. I went ahead and signed up for their platform. If we want to, we can make a video in the future kind of going over how to use the platform, how to enter in some information. It was actually pretty easy. I signed up for a new account on the platform and I didn't want to pay for anything right away, right? There's a lot of cool methods, things out there you don't have to pay for. I selected I would like to enter myself in manually. It goes in, you can enter your paycheck. So if you or your spouse have W-2 income, you can enter that in. If you have other types of income, dividends or YouTube or Google Pay by your website or other stuff, and you can add that in, and then you'll enter your expenses, your mortgage, your rent, your utilities, your cellular services, right? All of that's entered in, and it asks you all these questions, pretty easy peasy, and then that allows you to start up that budget. The other option here was Good Budget. I'm not too familiar with this. I did make an account on there to check it out. Now they have a free forever plan. It's $0, which is awesome. It allows you to have 10 regular envelopes. Those are like your regular things that you're gonna have on a month-to-month basis, but you can also have those additional envelopes for like travel, for setting money aside for birthdays, holidays, right? Now, the reason I always suggest as a number one habit for it's budgeting, raises awareness for your income, what cash you have coming in on a regular basis, and then expenses. Where is your money going? When you are able to focus on money coming in, where it's going, you can track, hey, last month I spent $600 on groceries versus this month I spent $1,200. Why did I have, where's that difference in money coming from? Why did I spend that much extra? And then you can look down at your receipts and be like, hey, I see that this month I can see why I spent a little bit extra there. We didn't budget in, or we didn't plan for buying a grill, buying extra propane tanks for the summertime, right? So it makes you more aware of where your capital is going, right? And then set up monthly meetings as we are going into summer. Sometimes there's different sporting events, camping events, travel plans, right? Month to month money meetings are really good way of you and your spouse to stay communicating as far as like what is upcoming that could potentially need to be planned out for, and have a money fund set up in order to set aside 200 $400 for a specific event, right? So that is my number one habit. I always suggest. Number two is the envelope method. I learned of this method almost 20 years ago. This is something where you start off with physical envelopes. This is my suggestion. I learned this back when I did this financial peace class. I don't know if you guys can see that. There it is right there. The Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace Military Edition. In the military, I learned about the envelope system. I basically ripped out 12 different envelopes out of this book, and I labeled them with what I wanted to use that capital for, whether it was for my entertainment, utilities, groceries, investing, cell phone, internet, right? There's a lot of things in there that are pretty static, but there's some stuff out there that is not so static. Entertainment, right? By budgeting for $200 to set aside specifically for entertainment, it really does help out, especially if you're having issues keeping a hold of your money and saving it, right? By having it physically inside these envelopes, and you're going like, hey, I want to go buy something on the shore, that's for my entertainment, but you look inside your envelope and it's empty because you already spent it all, right? it makes you really not want to dip into your groceries or your investing envelopes because those are already set aside for specific money. So just by having these envelope method, it really helps you again ingrain it into your mind. It keeps variable spending in check. If there's something that's not in an envelope, it's something that comes up regularly where I need to make an envelope, so set up money for that specific thing on the side, and it just helps promote discipline. This is a really big system that I work with my son on. So I have an envelope that has what he's basically planning for and budgeting, like a goal, and then he'll have what his goal is on the right, what he's investing for up top, and then every time he adds like $5 in, $20 in, he just adds it on the left hand side, and eventually when he hits his goal, he'll be able to buy the item that he wants. And then number 3 is automate savings. Savings and investments is a huge thing. Schedule transfers to your savings and investments. So every month, doesn't matter if I have income coming in from my dividends, income coming from my real estate. Anytime I see money hitting my checking account, I automatically go and sweep it into my high yield savings account. Over at SoFi Money, it's a really all-in-one platform. The checking account makes 0.5%, 0.50, 0.5%, half a percent of interest per year, but that high yield savings account is a 3.8% savings. So when I do get the capital in my checking account, I just make a transfer same day, transfer it over to my money account. The same day it hits my savings account, it starts accruing interest up until the next month, making my next month interest payment a little bit higher, right? So schedule those transfers when you can, or if you have the option inside the account to schedule that for you. The other one is investments. Ensure if you are using an investment account, that it may have sweep options. So what I mean by a sweep account is Over Fidelity is a platform that I've been using now probably since February of this year. I really like their sweep account. Whenever you get paid dividends and it's not set up to drip, say you make $1,000 in dividends and it's not invested, it's sitting in your Fidelity account, it's sitting in cash and gets swept into Fidelity's sweep account. I think it's like a 4% APY high yield savings, but it doesn't have to be invested into some specific fund in order to make that 4% APY. It is just automatically making it. So when you have time, you go into the account, you see the opportunity, and you invest that capital into your companies. The next month, when you're paid out a dividend, you're going to get paid out from the Fidelity account for the number of days that money was sitting in cash in the account, in that sweep account. So make sure that the platform that you're using, research if they have a sweep feature, and you're taking advantage of it. Anytime I get money in my checking account, if I don't use it right away, I just put it in my investment account or my savings account, where it offers me a higher APY. And also, out of sight, out of mind, I try not to have any cash in my wallet. If I do sell an item during the week, or I have cash in my account, I will take it to the bank, deposit it, and transfer it into my investment account almost right away, as soon as I can. That way it's out of my sight, it's out of my mind. I don't want to spend it. And I stick with my budgeting plan, which is already out there. And then it just helps build wealth effortlessly by just having it automatically in those savings accounts, in those investments, in those automatic sweep accounts, right? So that is number 3. Number 4 is to pay yourself first. Treat it as a bill. So treat this as we said, part of your budget. It's that investment envelope. Treat it as a bill. This is a guaranteed thing that you have to do. It's basically like your cell phone, your internet, your rent, your mortgage. Prioritize future you. Your future you will thank you. Helps avoid lifestyle creep. So if you get a raise at work, for example, where you got paid, you're making $1,000 a month and you're putting away 20%, so you're putting away $200. You got a raise to $2,000. Yeah, you doubled up your income, right? Instead of paying yourself $100, still pay yourself, because your income doubled, double up your investments. Instead of investing $100 a month, you now invest $200 a month, right? Or $300 a month. So whatever you're doing, just double it up, stick with it. This helps avoid that lifestyle creep because you're paying yourself first. It's in your mind and you're prioritizing your future self. Cook and meal prep as much as you can. I love to meal prep. I go out to Costco every Sunday and I buy myself a bag of organic chicken drumsticks. I make them all on Monday put them into my glassware, and then make some quinoa on the side. And that's essentially my pre-planned lunch for the week. I'm mixing it with some cauliflower, broccoli, carrots, right? Different stuff on the side. But this helps save a ton of, less waste, more control on what I'm eating on my lunch. And then as far as cooking at home, every week, make your schedule as far as what items you're going to be buying from the store. If you're going to be making some, sandwiches, you're going to be making some burgers, spaghetti, salmon, right? Depending on whatever items you're going to be planning on making that week, go ahead and add it onto your list. I like to go shopping often at Costco and Trader Joe's. Those are generally my spots. So I have a set list of items when I walk into the store. I know that produce is on the left. I go through the frozen aisle. I pick up bread, items on the back. I get my eggs, yogurt, move into my meat, and then I go through the aisles and collect some of the miscellaneous stuff I need through there. So it's all in my notes on my iPhone, really quick and easy. Then I just uncheck or check the item when I got it in my cart and move on. I don't try and deter from that, because that just kind of, it's out of my, it's kind of wasteful, right? Sometimes we see something like, I could use that maybe in some kind of thing, and then you buy it and it sits in your pantry for weeks and months, and then you go back to it, you're like, hey, this tuna, is it so good? No. Kidney beans, is it so good? No. These are canned items that you bought, but they weren't for a specific purpose, and now they've gone bad over the course of a few years. So it also helps promote a healthier lifestyle. Number 6 is cut reoccurring costs. This is you reviewing your subscriptions, your bills. This includes your gym, your online services, any number of items like Netflix, Amazon Prime, right? Go through there. If you're not using it on a weekly basis, monthly basis, or yearly basis, go ahead and cut it out. I've heard Rocket Money is really good for this. I've already gone through my subscriptions and seen, are we using this service? Not really as much. We don't use Netflix. We do use Prime, both for delivery and for their online services. So that's kind of a nice one that we use, but we don't use a lot of, HBO or Netflix or a gym. We have an upstairs gym, so that removes different subscriptions and bills that we would otherwise have, right? Switch to more affordable services. So if you're not using all of the internet that's out there that you need, you might switch to a more affordable service plan. If you are on a cell phone that you see that your data, you're not using 30 gigs of data per month, you're not needing that specific plan. Or even if you're using like a very expensive phone plan, but there's somewhere local to you that you're able to cut that cost in almost half or more, you guys just switching phone plans, internet plans, gyms. So there's a ton of different options out there for swapping different cheaper services. Now, not cheaper, I would say just more affordable services. I recently made a video in the last week where I talked about for $130 or less, I was able to pick up a new phone for my son. I was able to sign him up for unlimited talking and texting. And with that $130 initial, purchase, that is now indefinite. I no longer have any additional charges on top of that. It's just now indefinite texting and talking completely for free. So number 6 is cutting reoccurring costs. Number 7 is side hustle consistently. Small income streams begin to add up, and work on those small income streams, right? Reinvest earnings and grow those income streams bigger. You'll gain some skills along the way. So a little story here for me is this channel become unmonetized over the last 2 years that I made no content, but my other channel, my gaming channel, I didn't do much with it in 2024, early 2025, and it got to the point where it was making minimal on a monthly basis. What I did is I started picking it back up. I started creating content, and the income that it was making has doubled, has tripled, and has continued to grow over the last few months. And by taking the earnings that I'm making from that, reinvesting it into services such as Opus Clips, I think is the one that I'm starting to use. I can make really quick clips of my videos, my streams, and that brings in new subscribers, new viewers, and I'm able to reinvest those earnings, kind of gaining some new skills along the way, and it's building up that income on a monthly basis. That's very easy to see that it has been helping. So this just easy steps like that can really help out by just sticking with those side hustles and being consistent with it. Number 8, delay gratification. Focus on your goals over wants. By having a specific goal, it helps you wait for deals and value buys, and patience is profit. So this is the big one for my son and I, for the whole family. Write down your goals. I forgot what the little board is on the wall where you write down all your goals. I forgot what they're called now, but my wife has one upstairs where she has a ton of her goals written down. And every morning when you get up, you look at it, you're focused. You stay focused. You know what you're kind of focused on, and you're having that patience, and you're looking for the opportunity to potentially get it at a more reasonable price. So there's a ton of opportunities throughout the year where things dip down, and those are those opportunities for just value buying. So just delay the instant gratification of just going out and buying what the item is that you want. Focus on those long-term goals, set it up and work towards it, and patience equals profit. Set up financial goals. This is defining your targets for your savings. Right now on this channel, we started up our $1,000 investment challenge. So over the course of the year, we're not only going to hit $1,000 in our savings account, but we're going to go ahead and break above that. Not in our savings, but our investment account. Any sort of debts that you have, work on paying them off. Motivation with purpose. By stating clear, specific goals and timelines, you really take down that debt. Now, we're lucky ourselves. We don't have any sort of debt outside of a car loan. That is super manageable at a 1% interest rate or something very low, right? Over the course of the loan, it'll only add about $1,000 in interest that we'll have to pay in addition to the base. Pay down those high interest debts that are unmanageable and focus on building up savings and investments, right? So just kind of create some clear timelines, set up some goals. And then number 10, the final one here, is avoid debt or pay it down as fast as possible. Focus, I should have brought this second tab up, but focus on paying down, focus on using one of the pay down methods. The snowball method is paying off those small, tiny credit cards or debt. And then the second method is the avalanche method. You're going to focus on paying down those high interest debt, anything over 6-7% high interest. You're going to be focusing on paying those down because those are going to be the ones that really hit against you the most. Any sort of returns that you would make in the market, those will eat into anything. If your average return in the market is 7 to 10%, but you're on a credit card and you're on a credit card that's 15, 20, 30% interest rate, that's going to eat into any sort of your investments that you would make otherwise, right? And then use that freed up cash for investing into your future. So this is really quick. If you guys want to join the $1,000 investment challenge, you guys can scan that QR code or check out the link down in the pinned comment down below. We do updates every Thursday, so definitely subscribe for more content. And the reason I'm kind of doing this is by watching what I'm doing, you can learn from it, you can get started, you can stay consistent with it, which is one of the more important things. So that is it. Thank you all. Be sure to go down below, subscribe for additional financial tips. Give the video a big old thumbs up if you guys enjoyed it, or drop a comment down below if there's something you'd like to see in the future here on the channel. Would really appreciate it. And that is it for me. Thank you all for tuning in. I will talk to you guys in the